Hi, this is Jake Matthew. I'm a technology and cybersecurity leader. And in this video, I'm going to cover about AI agents and how you can build your first AI agent. So the disclaimer, again, this I'm using a lot of company names and product names that belong to the copyright of the respective companies. And this video has been produced purely for educational purpose. Before we get going, I just want to cover why we're doing this video. So this video will teach you about AI agents and how you can use AI agents to save you time, not just at work, but also at home in your personal lives. And how it will save time is you can use it to automate a number of routine courses, so you don't have to spend your time doing things. So this is the second part of the series. The first part was when I shared the slide deck on LinkedIn. But if you missed it, that's not an issue. You can just comment slide deck and I'll share the slide deck with you. And then the third part is where I help my watchers, my listeners who have seen this video, download the slide deck, and still need some handholding experience to build the agent which is described in this video. That offer will start on September 22nd, and it will be offered for the first 5 people only. However, if there's a large demand, then perhaps I could do a webinar in the future. Now, moving on, what is the agenda of this meeting? So we are going to talk about AI agents. I'm going to cover n8n, which is the tool we are going to use today. And then what are the requisites to run this agent, our cybersecurity considerations, how you could automate creating agents of n8n using Chrome and other browsers. And then the meat of the topic is about the online demo and how you could create it without any issue. Covering AI agents. So AI stands for, obviously, we all know, artificial intelligence. So there's artificial intelligence, there's also natural or human intelligence. That is intelligence God has given us to be able to think, to act. So artificial intelligence has been around since 1950s. It's not a recent discovery. However, with the advent of compute power, with the advent of technology improvements, AI and AI agents have become quite widespread. So AI agents are not automations. So automation and AI agents are different. So automation is, for example, it's like an alarm. At 5 a.m., I need some things to be done, routine things to be done. You don't need an AI agent for that. AI agents are required when we need to do some processing, when we have to use some intelligence. So let me just show you this example. So this is an AI agent. Again, I'll cover this n8n agent. I'll cover this in detail later in the video. So this is the input to the agent. This is the the brain, and this is the memory, and these are the tools. And apart from this is an actual agent. And if you look at what these are automations. Like this runs at 5 a.m. It gets the weather forecast and sends me an email. There's no intelligence in that. So this is the difference between AI agents and automation. Okay. Um, So there are multiple open source workflow automation tools. I've used n8n because I believe it's the simplest and the best suited for this purpose. What is this purpose? To be helping you to build your first agent, and without being a technical expert or without being a programmer. So this tool is very easy to do, and it has a lot of out of the box, straightforward integration with a number of applications. And those that are not supported, the most widely used ones are. Then we could use APIs. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It's basically where two applications, like say a product from Microsoft, for example, SQL, which is a database, and you want to connect it to another application like uh, um, Power BI or any. I'm just giving any example. So these two different applications can communicate to each other through APIs. This is how. Again, I don't want to get into more detail about it, but it's just a way of allowing two different applications to speak to each other. So as we covered earlier in the video, the main components of n8n and any other AI agent is the brain, which is basically the large language model. Then the memory is used for storing our context. If you remember when you do queries on your LLMs, it remembers who you are. So you don't have to it remembers the context, so you don't have to go back and start again. And the tools are the way we integrate with different applications. So again, this is just a repeat of what I just mentioned, the brain, the LLM, and the memory and the tools, which allows us to integrate n8n with other outside applications. So what do we need to run our first agent? We need an n8n account, we need a Google account, an OpenAI API account, and about $5. You don't have to use OpenAI, but I'm using OpenAI. n8n supports a number of and all the widely supported LLM models. OpenAI is what I've chosen. You can choose any other. They all work similarly. The the API account is not the normal account we run queries. API account is how we integrate our applications with OpenAI or with any other LLM, an application program interface, which is covered earlier. So when we run a query, it integrates using this OpenAI account. And we need about $5 of our budget. So why we need $5 is this API when we consume it using tokens. Again, I'll cover what are tokens, what the query is, and others later, but in the same video. So, but we need, when we use this, when you're running a query, when we process tokens, this charge. So that's why we need the money to about $5 for this demo purposes. So let's get started. The first account we're going to create is the n8n account. So in n8n, again, this is the automation tool. We could do a standalone or a cloud version. The easiest thing, especially since for us, we just want to learn a first agent and create a first agent, the best option is the cloud version, and which is what we're doing. But you could use a standalone version, which gives us more flexibility, but we're using cloud version for now. So the website is n8n.io. I've mentioned that. So what I've done is I've opened the web page. So what we need to do is when you click on that n8n.io, the icon on the slide deck, you see the screen as shown. So what you have to do is get started. When you click on get started, you get this option. So basically you need to fill all the information and then you have this 14-day trial. So for 14 days, you will be able to use n8n for free. And then if you don't want to use it after that, we could cancel it. So I believe this agent, which we are creating today, can be done in a day or two. So maximum, actually in a couple of hours. So especially if you follow with me, you can just follow me, pause the video and create it and continue. So you don't need 14 days. But after 14 days, you need to pay. But if you do it in the 14 days, it's for free, and you'll be able to create a first agent. And that's the whole purpose of this video, to equip you to understand what agents are and to equip you to create your first agent. So moving back to the slide deck. So this is what we need to do. You go to that, if you click that website, you see the screen, I've captured it. That's what I showed you in the Safari browser. And then we start the 14-day trial as explained. So Google, I think all of us have a Google. If you don't have one, you can just click on that accounts.google.com and sign in and create a Google account. Now, we could use Microsoft, you could use others, but in my experience, for simplicity, it's very easy to use Google. With Microsoft is far more complex. So, as since this is for the first, since you're creating a first agent, this is the videos for people who are creating agents for the first time. I've used Google, but you could use any other accounts. But so moving on. So now we go to the OpenAI AI account. So again, we already covered that API account is not a normal account. We need to uh, go to the website and register. Now I have that website open, my Safari. So, so here this is the OpenAI, then you .api account that, and then you go here and then you could use either your email address, or you could use your Google account or Microsoft account to be able to log. So this is, you could use either or. I tend to use these instead of creating individual accounts because it is better from a cybersecurity perspective, because you won't have your passwords everywhere. And you just need to change your Google account if you're using the Google option, then going to say under website and changing all the passwords, which normally nobody does. And this is how a lot of accounts get hacked. But again, these are not this purpose of this video, but I just wanted to cover up some cybersecurity based fundamentals. Log into the OpenAI API account, you'll get a screen similar like that, like the one I'm showing on the screen. But let me do it as a demo just to make it clearer for you. So I'm going there as a similar screen. These are the GPT models from OpenAI. If you keep going down, you can see a list of models. And what I have used is the GPT 4.1 mini. You can use anything, but why I've used it is because of the pricing. So these are the different models and the tokens. So what are tokens? So when we raise a query into any LLM, the LLMs break the queries into tokens to process it. So it's not a word to word or a character to character correlation. It depends from um, LLM models to another. But it's just to let you know that different models and different versions are different cost. And because we're doing a demo and we want to conserve costs, I'll use GPT-4 mini. So going back to the slide deck, uh, from here we're going to the billing information. So how do we add billing and a credit card and details? So obviously I'm not going to show you my credit card details, but I will show you how to go into billing. So once from here, if you click here and you go into your billing, it shows I've already logged in, so I spent 5 cents and about $4.95 remaining. But this is where you add your payment methods and you add your credit card details. So once you add the billing information, then you'll be able to go into API keys. Okay, so this is the next slide. This is the API keys. So if you go back to the demo, and we go into API keys. So this is the API keys that you can create. So again, what are APIs? APIs is what allows like this ChatGPT to link with n8n in this case. So how do we create API keys? So I already have a couple. You can create a number of keys. You're built on your consumption of tokens, not on the number of keys. So I'm not going to share my real one. So I'll create a new key and I'll call it say test. So again, you need to know which project. So just choose default project and it creates the key. So what is very important is when you create this key, this API key, you see it only once. After you cannot see the key. So what you have to do is copy it Um, and this is something I'm showing I'm going to do it, but you need to copy it and save it somewhere securely. Now, if you forget the key, you can create a new key and use it because that's not a problem. But then if it goes live, then it'll be an issue. So when we are doing the actual online demo, I will show you how to integrate the API key into n8n. So this is how about API keys, the billing is all covered in the slide deck. So the key starts with SK and it's a pretty complicated string of characters. Now, cybersecurity concerns. So, and apart from all what we have covered so far, remember the as you consume tokens we have built. So when you're not using an agent, you must switch this and disable the agent. And also, whenever we're integrating n8n with other applications like Google or Microsoft or whatever application you're using, you need to make sure you're using complex passwords. Moving on from cybersecurity, and this is coming to me to demand the online demo. How we'll create an agent that we give a chat, it will process it, and will create events, edit events, and delete events on Google Calendar. But I'll do a separate video for that. Um, just immediately following this, because I presume some of the listeners would want to just see the online demo only. So just watch the next video in the series. So this is where all the videos are available for you to watch. Now, moving on, these are n8n. What we've done is, what we will be doing in the demo is showing how to create these n8n workflows manually. You can also automate it. So why I've explained it in this video is because it's very important to actually understand how it works. Because even when you automate the creation of these workflows, you need to tweak it. For that, you need to understand what n8n is, what are the components, how does it all work together. And that's why this video was done. So if you want to use extension, browser extensions, I'm giving Chrome as an example here. You can use other browsers. And as I said, this video is not sponsored by Google or anybody else, but I'm just took Chrome as the example because it's the most widely used browser out there. So to add these n8n extensions, what we do is we go to this website, which I mentioned, the Chrome extensions, and then you look for n8n. You find a few. So I've used this n8n chat, and then you can install it. In my case, it's already installed. So that's how you actually install the agent. Once it's installed, you'll see it on your toolbar. So how would you see that is, you go here and then look to here, you can see the extension and then you see n8n. Now, once you click on the n8n, it gives you the option to activate. What happens is if you're not in the n8n tab and you try to activate it, it will fail. Now, first of all, to activate, you have to add the API keys. You have to copy the API key, which I've already done. But when you go to the setup of the API key in OpenAI, you can copy that key. Remember, we copied it earlier. You can paste it here, and that's how you set it up. However, if you try to activate it, if you go to the n8n workflow, you see this workflow which we done earlier in the video. You go here and then click n8n, click activate. It will activate and you can have the prompt and you can give a command and the workflow will create the agent, the extension will create the uh, workflow automatically. Going back to the slide deck. So this is what we're showing. And so in this particular extension, which is in the n8n chat. Uh, I've used the free version because we don't want to be paying for it. And then you can give your own commands and there's some outputs that give it to you. So what happens next is that stay tuned on 22nd, God willing, on 22nd September. I will open up my appointments where you could, the first where you can have free one-to-one guidance and help to create this workflow in it. If you've already watched the video, downloaded the slide deck and still need help, you could reach out to me on 22nd September. So that way I've given you the ability to do your own first agent. Thank you.